Your body doesn't decide whether or not you go for a walk. Your mind does. You can have the perfect plan, the perfect shoes, the perfect playlist, but if your mind is still running those old stories, it's going to win the fight. In the last episode, we talked about seasons, and honoring your capacity is the key to consistency. Now we're going to zoom into the control center, your mind, because your mindset is actually the algorithm that allows you to see what's possible. I like to describe it like this. Your mindset is every experience you've had, every message you've absorbed from other people, plus what you feed your brain every day. Put that together and you get the stories that you've lived by. Stories like, I always quit. I'm not athletic. I'm too old for this. It's selfish to take time for myself. There's too much stuff to do. None of those are facts. They're just thoughts that you've continued to rehearse in your mind. So they feel really true, but they're not. When I go back to the first time of my accidental weight loss, I call it my accidental weight loss because I wasn't planning on doing that. I started walking to walk my son to school, and I kind of had to because I didn't have a car. I didn't like the way people looked at me. I didn't like the great big hill I had to climb, so I made those walks longer. It became a habit and it stuck. And I lost 65 pounds within a year. Everybody wanted to know what the secret sauce was. They wanted to know what I did to lose the weight. But it really was more about the identity shift. I had this story in my head about who I was allowed to be. I thought that my body was either a project that I needed to fix or something that I could ignore altogether. It wasn't until I started questioning those thoughts, first in my mind out on those walks, and then out on paper. I started transforming who I wanted to be in the future to who am I being like right now? And why can't I be happy like right now before I even get there? It's only me that's stopping myself. So I want to walk you through a little exercise that, again, I have in the Ideas in Motion journal and planner that's going to maybe help you start to uncover some of these pieces of yourself. So like we've done in every single one of these videos, if you want, you can put me on pause, grab a piece of paper in your journal and a pen, and let's get rocking on, at least writing out these questions so that you could come back to them at a time that you're in a reflective zone. We're in the planning stages of the year. This is a great time to evaluate where you are in your mindset, because that's the one that's going to feed the algorithm. So here's a simple question from the planner that you could do right now. Ask yourself, how do I feel today? Like right this moment, emotionally. Be honest. Is it overwhelmed, hopeful, numb, scattered, excited, happy? Whatever it is, write it down, capture it. Then ask yourself, how do I want to feel in 28 days? I want you to write it down as though it's already happened. It's kind of like giving yourself affirmations, only you're building the affirmations from what you want specifically for you. So I'll give you an example of mine. I feel grounded in my mornings. I trust myself to keep small promises. I feel proud of how I'm caring for my body. I feel more present in my own life. And these are all goals set into daily intentions, which means I'm being that as of today. That is who I am being, not something that's way out there in the distance. I get to enjoy that right now, which is really what life is all about, is enjoying where you are in the moment. You're not lying to yourself. You're telling your brain where you're headed. To support this shift, you're going to need small, repeatable actions, not great big grand declarations. I like to call it a hot list sometimes instead of like just a routine. Routine sounds so like boring and mundane. This is a hot list. This is stuff to get you excited and loving life, right? I like to do 1 to 3 small doable things that move my mind, my body, and my purpose forward. An example of this being is first thing in the morning, I write or I'm publishing or I'm editing my next book. Okay. That is working on my mind and my purpose simultaneously. As soon as I'm done that, I move my body some way. In the summer, it's going for a walk first thing in the morning. Sometimes in the winter, I'll do something like a yoga flow in the morning because it's still dark and I go for a walk later in the sunshine. What's important is, like we talked about in the last video, is identifying what season that you're in and having things that you can pick from so that you're utilizing those things within the same time slot or within the same stack. Another example would be an evening wind down. This is something that I should really do more of, but it's like basically 5 minutes at the end of every day. You can say it verbally, you can write it down, but what went well? And what did I learn? So you might have had some things that didn't go so well. So what did you learn from that? And how would you do it differently next time? Just to anecdote it for yourself. This third one I'm going to give you, I never ever skip. It's a weekly brain dump. Okay. So this, you want to take an entire page of whatever, and you write down absolutely everything that is on your mind, things that you have to do, appointments that you have, work that you have, schedules and everything, all your thoughts, all on one piece of paper. And then you take those things and you decide what to delete. I didn't say what to add, did I? It's what to delete, because you're going to have some non-negotiables on that list. And one of that non-negotiable is spending time with yourself, right? So what are the things that really could be delayed? What are the things that are going to schedule in? What are the things that are your thoughts? Maybe some things are for next month that you're going to start on. But it's really important to get that all out of your brain so that you have space in there. Remember I talked about creating space versus time? We talked about that in the time inventory video of this series. It takes repetition to really be able to dive in and create change, especially when it comes into the mindset, the movement, and what you're building with purpose, giving it some momentum. Think of your mind like a social feed, right? Like a social media feed. You know, like when you go onto Facebook and you hover on one thing, the algorithm likes, even here on YouTube, it will send you more of what it thinks you like, right? If you constantly consume, I hate my body content, nothing ever works for me content, or I'm too old for this content, you're going to get more of the same. Your brain will happily serve that to you on repeat. What if you curated your inputs on purpose? Listen to stories of reinvention. There's so many of them out there. Tune into that. Read things that make you feel hopeful, not hopeless. Control the algorithm more than you think. If you want a specific place to capture those new thoughts, you're welcome to grab one of these. It comes in the digital format. I'll send you to the page where it lives on. You can also get it in a physical format from Amazon, or you could just transfer what we've been doing in this video series into your own journal and planner and DIY it that way. There's no hard, steadfast rules, but this video series has been sponsored by the Ideas in Motion Planner. Next week, we're going to talk about your body, but not in a way to fix it. We're going to talk about movement as a way to move energy and enjoy being in your body. If you're ready to stop fighting with your body and start partnering with it, you're going to want to watch this video next and tell me in the comments, what's one story that you're ready to retire? I'll see you over there.